The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race has officially concluded for Mid-Ohio, and we see a lot of chaos, rain and shine, and a lot of craziness happen in the Truck Series race, and Corey Heim picks up the victory. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race in Mid-Ohio, the O'Reilly Auto Parts 150. We got quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So, for the green flag drop in today's race, obviously this race got delayed by an hour to an hour and a half due to rain and lightning. But once we got going, this race would become a rain race as teams would have to put the wet weather tires on. A lot of drivers have to start at the rear of the field. This included Colby Howard, Spencer Boyd, Matt DiBenedetto, Jake Garcia, Zane Smith, Connor Daly, and Stuart Friesman all have to start at the rear for basically unapproved adjustments. Then we started racing with single file restarts of Corey Heim leading the field to green, but the caution would come out quickly as Garcia got stuck in the gravel trap, and Jack Wood also got stuck in turn 2, stuck on the track as well. Then went back racing a lap forward. Corey Heim leading the field back to green once again. There was a contact between Christian Eggers and Nick Sanchez as well. You had William Walsh spin from 8th position, and you had Roger Kroof also spin. Tyler Ingram spun out, Landon Lewis spun out, and Colby Howard all spun out basically on the same lap. Then on lap number 5, we saw Carson Osbar come down to pit road to basically replace a flat left rear tire. Haley Diggins, she spun out basically and was able to keep going, but she got stuck in the keyhole. And Ty Majeski actually got around Corey Heim, who made a mistake and got really sideways. Then on the next lap, we saw Matt Crafton spin in the keyhole as well. Then a couple laps there, we saw Tanner Gray spin out once again and get stuck in the gravel trap, bringing the caution out. Then we went back green once again at lap number 12 with Ty Majeski leading the field with Corey Heim basically in second position. And we saw Corey Heim get a really strong restart and was able to clear Ty Majeski for the race lead. But he got sideways going to turn number 13 and would fall back to third position, handing Ty Majeski the lead once again. Then on the next lap, we saw some contact between Mark Andretti and Matt Crafton. There was contact, of course, Mark Andretti making his Truck Series debut. Matt Crafton ended up spinning out in turn number 2. Matt Crafton kind of made a little bit of an aggressive move, but there's contact between both of them. And also Tanner Gray spun out in the driver's trap in turn 4, but was able to continue going. Then on the next lap, in the same next lap, we saw more trouble between Carson Osbar and Colby Howard, where they got stuck together entering turn number 2, and they brought the caution out once again. Then we went back racing with 3 laps to go in stage number 1. Ben Rose leading, and then we saw the final caution for the end of stage 1 happen with Connor Jones and Spencer Boyd going off the racetrack at turn number 12, and that would bring the caution out, handing Senge 1 to Ben Rose. Meanwhile, a little bit of strategy happened where Matt Crafton decided to stay on wet tires while everyone else came down pit road for the non-competitive pit stops. Then we went back racing once again with Matt Crafton leading the field back and Ben Rose being in second position. Meanwhile, going turn number 2, chaos would strike once again for Will Rogers, who spun off of turn number 2. Then you have Mark Andretti, who spun in to stack up from 15th position. Nick Sanchez also spun out from 4th, running in the top 5, I believe around turn 10 or turn 4, from the top 5. And Ben Rose had the race lead at that particular time. Meanwhile, more chaos started consuming. The next lap we saw Lost Allen basically go spin from 11th, and he gets stuck in the gravel trap. Instead of basically turning the car back around, he drove straight in the gravel trap, bringing out the caution once again. Then we went back restarting lap 28 with Ben Rose leading the field once again. And Ben Rose, and we saw some really good racing right here, as basically we saw great racing up front between Ben Rose, Ty Majeski, and Corey Heim, and Zane Smith, who were all battling for the race lead. Eventually, Ty Majeski with that got around Ben Rose for the lead, and we all thought that basically Ben Rose was going to basically run away with this. Actually, Ty Majeski was going to run away with this team, but Ben Rose is right there behind him. But eventually, Corey Heim, he started coming to play and got around Ben Rose for second. Meanwhile, Will Rogers and Austin himself with 3 laps to go in the stage, they got contact and they drove deep into the corner and they all spun out, and both of them were not happy with each other. With that, though, it would not matter as they came off the final corner. Ty Majeski would come off the corner and win stage number 2. Meanwhile, the NASCAR decided to go ahead and implement double file restarts once again, and like I said, Ty Majeski won stage 2. So then on the restart, Ty Majeski lead the field from the outside and Corey Heim on the inside. And Ty Majeski got a really strong restart, but Corey Heim was able to pass for the race lead. Meanwhile, Daniel Dye basically spun in turn number 1, was able to continue on. Eventually, we saw a good battle between Ty Majeski and Ben Rhodes for a second, but both of them drove off the racetrack and basically wrecked each other out of contention, and the race would continue on. But Ty Majeski would have to come down pit road. I don't understand what Ty Majeski was doing there. That was completely stupid, in my honest opinion. Majeski's made a major mistake and wrecked both of them out of contention. Then we had Jack Wood, who went off the racetrack from turn 9, bringing out the caution. And then Will Rogers, the next lap, he spun out coming off of turn number 1, bringing out the caution as well. Then we went back racing about 20 laps to go with Corey Heim leading the field from the outside and Zane Smith on the inside. And we saw Brett Holmes get stuck in the gravel trap with Corey Heim having the lead, bringing the caution out once again. Then we went back racing about 15 laps to go with Corey Heim leading the outside and Zane Smith on the inside once again. Basically, we saw Corey Heim get a really strong restart. Zane Smith nearly spun himself out, but was able to continue on. And then with about 13 to 14 laps to go, Tanner Gray basically was trying to pass Roger Krupp in turn 9. He got shoved off the racetrack by Roger and got stuck in the gravel, was able to continue on. Down the next lap, another caution would come out for Will Rogers and Austin himself, who were off the track in turn number 1 in that trap, bringing out the caution once again. Then we went back restarting once again with Corey Heim leading the outside and Zane Smith on the inside. And as Corey Heim got the race lead, Roger Krupp would have some trouble and spun in turn 1, and Brett Holmes got stuck in the trap as well. And Spencer Boyd also got spun in that situation, but was able to continue on. Meanwhile, Zane Smith had a terrible restart and drop a couple of positions with Christian Eckes passing him as well, and the caution would get thrown because of that. Then we went back racing with 5 laps to go for the final restart of the day, with Corey Heim leading the field from the inside and Christian Eckes on the outside. And Zane Smith got a really strong restart, but did not get the lead as Corey Heim had the race lead. A lot of chaos started happening behind him, but as they came to the white flag, you had Corey Heim leading about a second and 1/10. Basically, Zane Smith was trying to close into Corey Heim, but Corey Heim's car was really strong. And coming off the final corner, Corey Heim holds off hard-charging Zane Smith to pick up his second victory of the 2023 season and gets another victory. Huge congratulations to Corey Heim. Well-deserved win, in my honest opinion. I think Corey Heim had the best truck in the field. His truck was really strong, especially on the long runs. He got trapped back a little bit by mistakes in the rain, but once it came into the dry, Corey Heim's truck really came into play and gets a really convincing victory. Huge congratulations to Corey Heim, second win of the year. He probably should have a few more wins than he's already had this season. Nonetheless, so great day for Corey Heim. Huge congratulations to him on picking up his second victory of 2023 and his 4th career Truck Series victory. So now we're going to take a look at the race results, and I'll give you my score of today's race. So Corey Heim picks up the victory. Zane Smith finished second. Obviously, we talk about this, but Zane Smith had to actually start at the rear of the field. He gets a really strong top 5 finish in second place. Really great day for Zane Smith. Second straight runner-up finish. He didn't really have anything for Corey Heim, but again, another very solid day in second place. Christian Eckes finishes third. Christian struggled at points in this race, but continued to rebound throughout the day and gets a really respectful third place finish. Great run for Christian Eckes in third place. Stuart Friesen finishes 4th. For a guy who struggled in the beginning of this race, he continued to get better and better as the day progressed. And once we got into the dry, the truck seemed really good. A great point day nonetheless, so for Stuart Friesen in 4th place. Ben Rhodes finishes 5th. A great comeback for Ben Rhodes after the issues with Ty Majeski around 20 laps to go. He recovers to get a very solid top 5 finish. Great run for Ben Rhodes in 5th place. Matt Crafton finished 6th. He played a strategy card basically near the end of the race, and it really paid off for him because he gets a really strong 6th place finish. I thought he was going to win this race, to be honest, because he had fresher tires than the rest of the field, but he still gets a really solid 6th place finish. Ty Majeski finished 7th. A great comeback for Ty Majeski after the flat tire. He made that mistake, but a great comeback for the 98 team. There was a lot of cautions that really helped him get a shot and an opportunity to get up there. Nonetheless, so a great day in 7th place. Matt DiBenedetto finished 8th. DiBenedetto at points had a top 5 truck, but it seems like as the race got near the end, the truck kind of faded. But that is Matt DiBenedetto's 5th consecutive top 10 finish in a row. Rafferty's team is starting to get better on a week-by-week basis, and I'm telling you, I think Matty D could actually make the playoffs this year in 2023 with 2 races to go. He's got a shot to make it. Great run for him in 8th place. Nick Sanchez finished 9th. The guy had trouble throughout the day, but a really nice recovery for him in 9th place. I'm telling you, if Nick Sanchez could just not have some of those mistakes he has, I think he's going to be a contender, win more races. But a great day nonetheless for Nick Sanchez and a great recovery in 9th place. And Tyler Ankrum, who won the ARC race yesterday, he finishes 10th. Solid run for Tyler Ankrum today overall. Ran top 5 and top 10 a lot of day as well. I feel like Katori truck just was generally really fast and just a solid day overall in 10th place Good run for him. Grant Enfinger finished 11th. He had a flat tire in the middle portion of this race. It cost him a shot at a good run, but 11th place overall is not that bad, all things considered. Solid day for the GMS driver. Carson Osbar finished 12th. Carson Osbar had probably one of the worst races of his truck career up to this point, but a great recovery for him, nearly getting back in the top 10. I'm telling you, Carson just can't make some mistakes he made in this race, but he's going to want to contend for a championship, but still a great recovery for Carson Osbar in 12th place. Chase Purdy finished 13th. He ran top 15 a lot of days, so solid run for Chase Purdy in 13th. Daniel Dye finished 14th. Daniel Dye had some sort of trouble and issues. I think got spun out by Dean Thompson, if I'm not mistaken, and that cost him a shot at a really good run, but still top 15 is not a bad run for Daniel Dye. Taylor Gray finished 15th. Taylor Gray had a couple spins throughout the race. I think he spun out during the pace laps as well, but still a solid top 15 run for Taylor Gray. Jake Garcia finished 16th. For a guy who was having trouble in the beginning of this race, I think he's going to take that. Solid top 20 run for Jake Garcia. Lawless Allen finished 17th. For a guy who got stuck in the gravel trap, he'll probably take a top 20. He had a really, really adventurous day. I think got into Haley Deegan near the end of the race, if I'm not mistaken, but he finishes 17th. Not a bad run for Lawless Allen. Connor Daly finishes 18th. Connor Daly was just never really fast. At that point, he's contending for top 15, but it seems like the 41 truck, who was good with Bailey Curry a couple weeks ago, just seemed like there's nothing going right for Connor Daly, but he finishes 18th. Marco Andretti finished 19th. I thought Marco was going to do better today. Unfortunately, just had a couple mistakes on the racetrack, got off the track a couple of times, but he does get a top 20 finish, so hey, he can say he finished in the top 20, but I feel like that Marco is going to be disappointed about that, and he's probably going to want to do better, but it was really cool nonetheless to see Marco Andretti out on the racetrack. Hope he comes back and runs some more races, because I think he could actually do a really good job. Just a disappointing day for Marco overall, but he does finish in the top 20. Tanner Gray, who went off the track multiple different times, after the issues at Raja, he finishes in 20th. Timmy Hill finished 21st. Matt Mills finished 22nd. Ryan Vargas finished 23rd. Landon Lewis finished 24th. Really unfortunate break for Landon Lewis to find out with the thing 2 or 3 laps to go in this race. Landon was actually running in the top 15 near the end of this race, so it's a shame. He's actually having a really good debut. I bet Ron's going to be pissed at some of the drivers about the respect on the track, but he finishes 24th. Spencer Boyd finished 25th. Haley Deegan finished 26th. Tough break for her. I think she had a top 15 truck. I know a lot of people are going to blame her for the incident. I think she kind of sent it in the corner. I think it was on Taylor Gray or Raj Crew, if I'm not mistaken, and she kind of made a little mistake sending it in there too hard. I'm not sure what happened to her. I think maybe, like I said, Lawless Allen got in there because he was around Carson Osbar and Lawless Allen near the end of the race, and she was actually legitimately run top 15 near the second half of this race. She just can't seem to catch a break, or sometimes she makes mistakes on the track, but just another bad day for her in 26th place. William Walsh finished 27th. He had multiple mistakes out on the racetrack. He thought he was going to run better today. Qualified very, very well, but not a great finish for him. Connor Jones finished 28th. A bad day for him. Raj Crew finished 29th. Another racer Raj Crew probably should have finished better than he did. Raj had top 10 speed. And once again, just bad mistakes on a week-by-week basis for him. Just can't catch a break. He got wrecked, unfortunately, but nearly not his fault once again. A lot of times the things that have happened to him have not been his fault. Just terrible break for him in 29th. Austin Williams finished 30th. I know he had his issues with Will Rogers, but he actually was running top 10 a lot of his race, so it's a shame he made some of the antics. I think he had a speeding penalty as well that cost him a shot at a good run. Fox did not do a good job explaining that. Jack Wood finished 31st. Not a good day for him. Brad Holmes finished 32nd. Dean Thompson, after crashing out, finishes 33rd. Will Rogers, after crashing out of the race, he finishes 34th. Dale Quarterley finished 35th, and Colby Howard finishes last in 36th place. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole, and I'll give you my score of today's race. I'm not going to lie. This race is very, very tough to grade. There was a lot of entertainment. I'll give you that. Especially in the rain conditions, I thought the race is very, very entertaining. Granted, there were a lot of mistakes out on the racetrack and cars and trucks spinning, but I thought the race entertaining. It was really fun to see who had skills and who wasn't going to make mistakes. But once he got into the dry and he had a lot of his cautions near the end, it kind of became a very embarrassing race overall. I believe there were 10 or 11 cautions in 67 laps. That's unacceptable. You should not have that many cautions in 6-7 laps. And it was just becoming embarrassing. And a lot of them for guys getting beached into the gravel. Again, basically the gravel there is a lot of sand, and you get stuck in that gravel trap. And the guys I thought were going to be a little smarter than that, and it kind of affects the score for me. Just a little bit of disappointing race overall at the end. I feel like this near the end of the race was just completely embarrassing. I want it to be over. So for that, I would say the rain part, I give probably an 8 or 9 out of 10. But for the part that was dry, I give overall a 4 or 5. So I'll give this race overall 6 out of 10. Again, it wasn't the worst race of the year by any stretch of the imagination, but there's just so much lack of respect on the track. Guys not giving each other any room, especially on these restarts, or females and giving no respect on the track. And it was just hard to watch the race, especially near the end. So for me, I'm going to give this race a 6 out of 10. Actually, probably give it 5 out of 10. So, that is going to be for the NASCAR Truck Series race review from Mid-Ohio. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and channel notifications on so if I win a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links description below that, and comment your thoughts on today's race. What are thoughts on today's race? Let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And congratulate Corey Heim on picking up the victory. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. After the NASCAR Xfinity Series race later this evening, there should be a race review out on the channel. Tomorrow, there's going to be 2 videos on the channel. I'm going to have a video on the SRX line for 2023, and also, pending the weather, there should be a Cup Series race review on the channel as well. And then next week, we're going to be previewing you guys for the upcoming race at New Hampshire. I don't know if I'll have a Cup Series race, but we'll probably talk about that later this week in an update video. We'll have to wait and see what happens, though. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's race review, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content out on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.